Hi, everybody. This is Swadeep Pillarisetti here. I'm the co-founder of COVID India campaign, as well as an IIT Madras alumnus. I BTech 2001 pass out. And I wanted to thank IIT Madras Alumni Association for giving me the opportunity to speak and tell our story about how we fought against COVID. And so it started back in March actually last year, 2020, when COVID hit India. And we started something called as COVID India campaign.org, a group of us IITIM alumni, as well as my co-founder, Dr. Shalini Nalwad, and a bunch of us actually started together. Frontline doctors, it was a pan-India disaster support task force, right? We had hundreds of volunteers across the country, including frontline doctors, intensive care specialists, critical care specialists. We have intensivists, hospital owners, social workers, NGOs, startups, entrepreneurs, corporate leaders, and so on, right? The entire industry came to back us. And we did multiple initiatives, right? I am sure many of you remember when Bombay doctors were wearing, helmets and torn raincoats. They didn't have PP kits. It was the need of the hour back last year in May. And Mr. Nishit Mohan and Shreya Shah, who's both were spearheading this campaign called Save Our Saviors. And we enabled more than 4 crores of donations through Flipkart, CSR, Walmart, and Give India, and so on. We raised our own money as well. We did more than 1.5 lakh gowns and N95 masks, PP kits, critical medical supplies across 50 hospitals in 5 states, including Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, and so on. And that was a huge impact. And after that, we did Mission COPE, COVID Plasma Endeavor, where we launched the first plasma donation banks in Bangalore, Karnataka, Mysore, Karnataka. We raised money through Atkins, CSR, and we set up the first plasmapheresis machines there. And thousands of people were benefited. And our own group had given plasma to hundreds of patients across the country through our network as well. We had Prana, we have Mr. Santosh Shan, we have Rotary, Palmville, multiple partners worked with us, and that was a huge impact there as well. Plasma actually impacted positively. Now, of course, ICMR has come out with different guidelines, so we put that on pause. And we also did COVID Virtual Innovation Accelerator, where IIT Madras was part of it. Many of their startups came, all COVID-related innovations. So we started connecting them to the state war rooms and VCs and angels and so on. It's called Covia, and that was led by Bansi Gotecha, led by Nayan Bheda, Mr. Ajay Mutreja, and multiple people in the industry, right? Adarsh Dikshit and so on. And that was a very well organized and orchestrated, concept that I had initiated. And then we also did the ventilator group and Splitters. So many of you that Splitters was a project that we did because we wanted to. The number of ventilators were less, so we wanted to see if we can split them. We 3D printed them. We designed them, in fact, by IIT Madras, Dr. Ganti and his team. And we did fluid analysis, computational fluid dynamics. And then we tested them, 3D printed them and tested them in hospitals with Dr. Rahul Singh Sardar, part of ICAT as well. And then that was, luckily we put it on hold because the pandemic died down by then. Ventilator group, we got the whole ventilator group on board in the ecosystem together. We helped them with, doing webinars, understanding, and we created a cookbook, right? An entire comprehensive guide on how to literally start from design of ventilators to testing of them, certification, and manufacture as well. So it was a whole, 9 yards. We had multiple people on board, including IISc Bangalore, IIT Madras, folks helping. I mean, Subbu was there. Mr. Subramaniam, and we had Vikram Rastogi from IIT Kanpur, Noka Robotics, and Scanray, and multiple people in the ecosystem, right? So then that was wave 1. Wave 2, we got hit so badly, so quickly, we just caught unawares, right? Completely by surprise, and it was devastating, right? I mean, I lost my close friend who's an ex-founder, a co-founder of mine, a 45-year-old, 12-year-old boy, and a 8-year-old girl, and he passed away, right? Overnight, literally. So it started hitting very close to home, right? First wave, we were friends of friends and so on, but it started hitting, own friends and family started getting impacted. And Bangalore, Karnataka was doing reeling actually. Karnataka was 50,000, 60,000 cases on a daily basis. Bangalore itself was 25,000 cases at its peak. And we had people dying in the streets, literally. I mean, in autos, and they couldn't even get. There's a line of ambulances right outside Manipals and Apollos of the world, of the city. It was it was heart-wrenching, so to speak, right? At the very least. And so we said we have to do something, right? We redirecting them is great, but there's no supply. So, and that time there was OCs also not available, oxygen concentrators. So we were scrambling for oxygen concentrators. So literally we said, let's start this campaign called Breathe India, right? So Breathe India initiative. So we got a crack team together. We got for logistics, we got AirAsia, Vistara on board, thanks to Captain Badrish, who's the next Indian Air Force pilot. Arjun Nagarajan came forward and he brought his team along, inventory, control, fundraising and everything. He came and helped. He left his, he runs a company called Suk, and he left everything and came here, IIT Guwahati guy, junior of mine and he said, I'll do whatever I can to help you, right? And he brought his legal folks on board. We started putting this whole concept together, and we got Rotary folks on board. We got Avirata Bharata, led by Harsha and Vasu, and these they were on the ground partners for us. We got Mr. Nishit doing the supply chain. We did Shreya doing the finance. So we got a great crack team together within few hours, right? The first day. Day 2, we started doing fundraising. Day in Milap and things like that. We raised first 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs in the first, the day 4. Day 5, we got enough money for the second hospital, the small makeshift hospital. Day 6, we shipped the OCs from Surat to Bangalore. And day 7, we set up the first hospital, right? So it's a makeshift hospital. Obviously, it's a community oxygen center. We wanted to make sure OCs don't save lives, right? It's doctors who save lives. It's about the medicines. It's a combination of multiple things. It's not just, ship OCs and they start helping patients. So we started repurposing existing solutions. So we have hospitals, we have hotels, we had hostels, which already have these beds. They have the infra, they have the 24/7 backup, they have power backup and water and sanitation, so on and so forth. And we have some medical staff, basic level of medical staff. We ship the OCs there. We get our doctors, our intensive care specialist, led by Dr. Naga Nishchal, who's the head of Karnataka. He's a president for Karnataka SEMI, which is Society for Emergency Medicine of India, as well as the head of Cloud9 clinical services for entire India, 16 hospitals and clinics across. It's a maternity and pediatric clinic. So he was on the ground, he's intensivist, he's training all the doctors on how to use these Unani doctors and dental hygienists and how to use the oxygen concentrators, right? And we put up drips, we put up the basic medicines, injectables, trash cards, AEDs, defibrillators, and monitors, very importantly, along with the oxygen concentrators. So we converted these beds that are there into oxygen beds very quickly. So we increased the supply. So fast forward, we started doing one a day, right? Every 20 lakhs, we set up a hospital in 48 hours almost, right? Less than that. And fast forward now, 1 month later, we covered half of Karnataka, right? About 50% in terms of geographical area. We got more than 170, 80 oxygen beds across Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and we started Breathe Karnataka, Breathe Tamil Nadu. Then we did Breathe Andhra Pradesh. And we've done more than 40 community oxygen centers across. So I'm very proud of the team. And it was hard work, but now we started moving to the north, and we are shipping another 300 OCs, oxygen concentrators, this as we speak, and it's going to at least 30 districts, folks, in the north. It's all over Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand. We got Jharkhand and northeast, and so on and so forth. So for wave 2, we also did 3 projects, right? So Breathe India, of course, which you already know about, which I spoke about. We also did Project Sach and also Mission Cope. Mission Cope we already did in wave 1, but we continued and helped a lot of people for plasma. It was led by Akash Surana. We had Ravi Kant, we had Pragati and Kunal and Kaushik and Sagar and multiple people running, right? Mr. Swaroop. We had a hotline actually, which is people could call in and get plasma or even donate plasma. And we also did something called as Project Sach, led by Paramita and Deva and so on, Molly and other people. And these folks, we did we had a whole team of telecallers at the back, right? We had Kar Dekho help us out. Anurag was happy to lend his team. We had Vipul Parekh from Big Basket also happy to lend his team from Big Basket. So Moin Khan is very helpful to give us dozens of his callers, telecallers at the back. They used to finish calling all the milk vendors in the morning, and then afternoon, literally 4 or 5 hours, half a day they used to give us. They were doing almost 100 hours of calls, I mean thousands of calls every day, right? And so we were doing about 15,000 to 20,000 calls on the back end to verify all the COVID-related resources out there, right? For medicines, for beds, for plasma, for oxygen, for so on. ambulances, helplines. And because there's so much noise in the market, out of some 20,000-30,000 numbers, we used to get only 2,000-3,000 that are actually quality data. So 80-90% was junk or not working or not picking up, right? So then we place this as on the resources tab on our website, which you can still see, covidindiacampaign.org, and feel free to look at that. Now coming to Breathe India, now what we are doing after wave 2 is we're looking at the infrastructure of the country. We're looking at building it up, the capacity building, to make sure we are ready for wave 3, right? If it happens. I hope it doesn't, but even if it does, we're looking at the HDUs, we're setting up small ERs, like emergency rooms in the PHC level. The secondary level, we are setting up these HDUs, step down ICUs, and at the tertiary level, at the district hospital level, is setting up ICUs, and not only setting it up using infrastructure, right? Which is BiPAPs and ventilators and so on, but we are also setting up the manpower. We are actually helping train them to make sure that they're able to be up to speed and they're skilled enough to handle the patients. So we're going to be doing these pilots now in Karnataka and then very soon pan India. So feel free to come to the website, check it out. If you want to join us as a volunteer or you want to donate as a donor, feel free to do that. It's on the website, covidindiacampaign.org.